a lot of people are wondering about this decision I made. I made a couple announcements. I finally revealed what I've been up to. I tweeted out that I'm leaving JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which is a NASA facility, and I'm also leaving C9 or Cloud9 as Mango's coach. And I revealed the other day that I'm going to be joining CLG as a business development manager. So a lot of people, so there's a lot of thoughts, and I think this is going to be a longer video, so it's not going to be a TLDR. But if you guys want the TLDR, pretty much I left Cloud9 as my role as coach. I left JPL as my job. Bleh, left JPL as an engineer, and now I'm at CLG as a business developer manager. So that's kind of the TLDR. So I had a lot of thoughts about this. There's been a lot of times where I flirted with full-time esports in the past, and I thought, well, if there's a right combination of variables, like I'll consider it. I think a lot of people like look at my life prior to this decision, and I think a lot of people probably say like I'm living the good life. Like I have a really good job, really stable job actually. I could probably work there for 35 years of my life. Have an amazing fiance. I'm gonna get married to her in the summer. I'm doing this esports gig. I get to travel. Like, I guess I'm quote unquote living the life. Um, but all in all, like, I just think that I could go the safe route with my life, and I could, really just take this engineering thing and make a marginal increase in salary every year. Maybe learn a few things, but then even with my current lifestyle, I don't think it's the most sustainable because I work 70 to 80 hours a week. So you look at my normal job at JPL, and then on top of that, all the Smash stuff, the content creation, and you kind of extrapolate. That's not something I can really do for the rest of my life. I'm just doing it because I'm young. I guess why I left JPL would be, or how I would made my decision to leave JPL for esports, and how I would, what were the criterion. First off, I want to make sure I put myself in a position where I'd learn a lot, try something new, and I'd be challenged. And I want to make sure that it financially made sense for me. And oftentimes I often rejected prior opportunities to go full-time esports because frankly the money wasn't there, and I'm not going to reveal how much salary I made, but I got an offer that seemed very fair from CLG to go, okay, like I'm not like making a drastic pay cut and a quality of living to my life, especially since I have grad school and undergrad student loans. Like I had to make sure that I was going to take care of myself and my fiance, and so that requirement was met with CLG. And I want to learn a lot, like I mentioned before. And being the business development manager is a little bit new for me. Um, um, I get to hear a lot about the inner workings of how esports work, how partnerships and how sponsors work, but now I get to be a lot more hands-on with something new. But a lot of people, kind of criticized me and said, like, well, like, am I really fit for this job? And my master's degree was actually a hybrid business and engineering degree, so it's kind of like a mini MBA. And at my job before going to Berkeley, actually after undergrad, I did a lot of sales and business stuff. So I'd travel and work with customers and do technical sales and business development. So it's not something that's completely on left field for me. And also with my work at JPL, I did process development and process improvement. So often this would mean that I would create tools and create analytics and metrics to see how we're doing as a section and see how we can improve. So if we notice bottlenecks, I would be the first one to know, and I'd be able to identify, how we can improve our efficiency, identify bottlenecks, see what our core issues are, and report them and see what recommendations we can make for the upcoming quarter. So it's not something that's like completely foreign to me. Although like I'm gonna have to learn some esports vernacular and um, how I guess this works. I think I can learn it very quickly. I pride myself on learning really fast and doing whatever it takes to really make sure that I'm doing a good job. And I'm pretty sure, like, for people that know me, they could vouch for me that I'm one of the hardest working people. So, like, I'll make sure like I do my best for CLG in my next role. Other than that, it's kind of a funny story. I was initially not really open to going to full-time esports. I usually rejected most inquiries, and I don't think most people thought I was even on the market for a new job. But Brian Tran, Tranmobile, who used to work for Riot, Blizzard, Twitch, and now he's moving to CLG. He's a good friend of mine, and I've had tremendous respect for him. And he asked me what like my thoughts were about moving over. He eventually worked his recruiting magic and got me in. And when I look at CLG and I look at how Nick Allen is there and how Brian Tran is now there, these are two great people that I feel like I learn a lot from. And if I want to grow myself in the them, I think we're going to do a lot of awesome, great stuff. Now, I guess like when I look at JPL, like I always like view it as like an 8 or 9 out of 10 job. Great people, great work, very inspirational. But within JPL had an upper limit where if I looked at myself 5 to 10 to 15 years down the road, I feel like I would do the same thing over and over again, which is just create more web apps, web tools, maybe learn a few new programming languages to accommodate to growing needs, and then identify metrics. But I didn't really feel like in many years, it's a public job. So even though it's rocket science, quote unquote, like I'm a public entity, so like my pay scale doesn't increase very well with respect to time, and I can't really move up in the company given what my role was, and I felt like I wasn't going to learn much in the next like 5 years. So I kind of figured like, hey, like I'm kind of capped here, and is this like really what I want to do for like the rest of my career? Unfortunately, my audio is cutting off a bit. um, Maybe it's my USB. Hopefully, when this goes up on YouTube, it doesn't. Um, so that's like my stance on JPL. Well, now with MangoCoach, it was a really hard decision with this. So I've been coaching Mango for probably about 15 months since the beginning of January in 2017. I figured that a lot of people will probably criticize me, and I think overall I did a pretty good job coaching Mango. Although there were, if you're a Mango fan and you're used to kind of the 2014 years, like maybe I underperformed. But I think one of the big accomplishments we made is that initially after like the big shakeups in the beginning, losing to Chu and Axe, and having some bad losses in the beginning, what I think we've really brought to the table since that early season of last year is like we brought a tremendous amount of consistency. And aside from like going to Super Famicom, we never lost a tournament set to a person that's worse than number 6 on the rankings. And I have to commend the other top 5 players for improving a lot. Towards the end of this tenure, we couldn't quite nail day 3s, and that's something I still haven't quite figured out. But I think Mango and I we grew a lot together, and every tournament I feel like we learned a lot about how to help him perform better and how to get him in his groove, in his zone. So aside from taking care of everything from his day to day at tournaments, I think we did a lot, and I think we grew a lot. So I'm really happy with my tenure at C9. C9 staff, phenomenal. So if you ever get yourself in the spot where you could work for your C9, I highly recommend them. Great staff, great people. Jack is a great team leader. I've never had complaints about the way that Cloud9 operated. I guess if there's a minor critique, I wish we were a little bit more involved with overall Cloud9. So maybe that's a suggestion I should make. I feel like we could have done some activities to make it seem like we were in a bunch of separate esports teams, but we were one big family. But overall, no complaints. Every request I made and everything I wanted, they gave to me. So awesome team. No harsh things for C9. For Mango, he did work pretty hard. He is very stubborn, but and we had to compromise on quite a bit of things. But our relationship is still really strong. We're still really good friends. And we live pretty you know, despite the fact it's LA traffic, we live decently close to each other. That like he's just a short drive away, depending on traffic. So we're still like really good friends. He's like, going to be a groomsman at my wedding. So all in all, no harsh feelings here. Although we did share some sentimental chats at full bloom after the tournament ended. We both got drunk and kind of hung out and poured our hearts into each other and had some heart to hearts. But yeah, I'm really excited for Mango. Hopefully, I wrote a bunch of notes for Mango, so whoever becomes the next Mango coach or wants to fulfill that role, if Mango wants one, like I already have typed up a lot about what you need to do for Mango to help him succeed and help him perform. So there's that. And on for CLG, business development manager. Be wearing many hats. The best way I can describe CLG right now is like a startup. So I'll be hands-on with a lot of things, but my primary role at CLG is to create a stable process for partnerships and sponsors, and just evaluating like through metrics and whatnot that I'll have to create like what are smart decisions we could be making in terms of business partnerships, what games we should get into in the future, what streamers should we pick up. So hopefully I can create a really cool system where we end up facilitating growth in many different ways and avenues for CLG. And I'm really excited. I've always loved doing business. I always like to I've always dreamed about getting more nuanced and more experience in those aspects. So I'm really looking excited for the future. It was definitely a very hard decision, and I spent many nights wondering if I was crazy, if I was insane. Like I literally am taking the dream of my immigrant parents who have wanted me to have a successful life, stable lifestyle, and what I've built up to this point has led to that. But I feel like in the long term of things, I think it's very clear that I'm making the right decision, and if the results very least, I took a risk, and I am pursuing the things I love. And if I didn't take this decision, and maybe what if an opportunity doesn't really come in the future, um, then I kind of wonder like, would I be kicking myself had I not taken this CLG opportunity and just stayed at NASA and kind of took it safe for like the 30 years of my life? And I kind of will said like, hey, if like not maybe YOLO, but like I have to like figure out this is right for me, and that's why I ultimately decided that I want to take this job. And it's not actually a big risk the more I think about it. Like I've developed really good relationships at JPL. Um, my section manager, my group supervisor, and I have built really good relationships that if CLG doesn't end up working out for me, like I think I always have a home at JPL, so it's not the biggest risk at all. And I'm hoping, but I think the opportunity for growth in the future by going to CLG is way greater for me as a person and also for my career than just sticking to JPL and playing it safe. So those are overall my thoughts on this whole thing. Definitely, I guess one thing to add is my Smash endeavors are probably going to take a big step back for the time being. I'm probably going to be at less events. At the very least, I'll try to do Commentator's Curse and make time for that. I'll do my best to maintain Tafo stats, but at least my presence at events is going to be significantly less as we build up the empire that is CLG. There's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done and a lot of growth. But I don't really see myself traveling to too many events. I may not even make it to Evo this year, but we'll see. I'm going to do my best to make it to Evo, but I'm probably not going to make the summer grind like I did in previous years. But the dream is that by next year we build up enough infrastructure and we build up the team enough that I am able to occasionally come to events and support the scene as much as I can. So to everybody, to C9 fans, really thank you guys so much for supporting me. Continue to support Mango. And thank you to everyone else that continues to support my content.